Hey, it's another day in paradise, and we're out here on the farm. Today I've got a fun project that I'm doing for the kids. We're going to be mounting actually a tire swing. So I figure that if you are going to do something, you better do it right. So I always bring my A game. Today we are going to be mounting an 18-wheeler truck tire for a tire swing, not one of those little 13-inch ones that you find on a go-kart or something. We're mounting a serious tire swing. So I'm going to show you how to do that and all the parts and tools you need to do that safely. But even though I'm doing a huge tire, the same principles apply. You just downsize them a little bit and then you've got your appropriate sizes. Alright, so let's get started. Alright, so our 18-wheeler tire weighs about 85 pounds. And my kids aren't that heavy, but they're going to grow, so let's say that they weigh maybe 60, 70 pounds. So two of them together might possibly push us to 300 pounds total. So I'm going to say that, we're probably between 250, 300 pounds, and that's kind of where we want to set our working load limit for this system. So that means we want to be 3 times rated for that, for all of the materials involved. I can swing on this and it's not going to be a problem with the kind of ratings. So the parts you need for the outside pieces, we have all hot dip galvanized, which are these. They're kind of dark and bumpy, or electroplated, which are these that are shiny. You want things that are going to be rated for outdoor use. This rope is also UV resistant. It's going to be in the shade, so it's not going to get a ton of sun, but it is an outdoor quality braided rope. Well, just another safety note, when you are, like we are, working in a tree or some other elevated structure, it's always best to prepare everything you can on the ground. So we're going to prep this down here, and then we just have to lift it up into the tree. So that'll make this a lot easier. So what we're going to do is make an 8. This is called a figure 8. And actually we're going to make a double figure 8. You can tie a double figure 8 very easily. We're going to pull the rope, I don't know, this is about 6 feet or so. We're going to pull off here. Want to make sure that it's not twisted and it's laying very flat. You don't want it to be all twisted. This is a brand new rope, so I straightened it out already on the end. Now the shape we're going to make is we're going to make an 8, and the 8 looks like this, figure 8. Take the rope around, wrap it around itself like this, wrap it around the bottom, and then we bring this as the end still. This is going to go through the top here, and we'll cinch everything down. See how that looks like an 8? Kind of looks like an 8. The regular figure 8 looks more like an 8 than this one does. Now this one has a little crossover here that I'm going to fix. It's looped over itself. We don't want that. Alright, so if you need to see that again, you can pause, rewind the video, whatever. You just cross it over itself, twist it over, back around, and back through. This will not slip. You do want a tail. You do not want this to be short, because in the event that it does fray a little or something, you don't want it to start fraying back into the knot. So we're going to leave this long, and I'm just going to attach it down here. You could also wrap this with some smaller rope or use heat shrink tubing or something like that. This is outdoors, so I want it to last kind of a long time. So I'm just going to use these rope clamps, and you just literally clamp them down like this. Alright, the other part we're going to do once we actually have this in the tree. So I'm going to show you what to do first before I just do it. I'm not going to take the camera up in the tree. This shackle has this little hole in it, and that's very important. It keeps the pin from twisting around, but all the load rests on this pin. You do not want to use a split link. You definitely don't want to use a carabiner, unless it's a climbing carabiner, which would be very expensive for this. Okay, so the chain will go around our branch. Our branch is right here. Our chain goes around our branch. This is the right size shackle for this. A 3/8 shackle will fit in a 1/4 inch chain. You don't use a 1/4 inch shackle with a 1/4 inch chain. I don't know why they're different, but you don't. And it goes like this. Now this basket part on the top here is where the chain will sit. You want the weight of this rope to be resting on the pin, not the other way around. Don't hang it upside down. This is to get the full strength out of this. This is the way this works. You can put something like thread locker on here, but it's not really necessary. This will potentially work loose in a dynamic environment, so we're going to use just a zip tie to hold it on. So then the rope slides through the middle, the pin rides into this like this, you tighten it down. And then you want to keep this from moving, so you just run a zip tie or something through this hole. Piece of wire, twisty tie, doesn't really matter. Run it through this hole and attach it to here. And just to keep this from twisting loose. Okay, that's all it does. Alright, and this is how this is supposed to be rigged. This is the final part. We'll measure the rope at the bottom and put the bottom all together, do the exact same process for the bottom in reverse once we have this up in the tree. So I'm going to climb up there and do that without the camera, because I don't have a way to mount the camera on my head or anything. And here's the finished bottom part, and it's on this turnbuckle. Now, this is not necessarily the right kind of eye hook here. This is just a bent piece of metal. The forged ones are a lot better for supporting weight like this, but this one's way more than the capacity of this system, so there's no problem. Just a bolt here, or a nut here, a washer, and then on the inside there's a piece of plate steel and a lock washer. So the plate steel is to spread the load out farther. I'm just going to take this little clamp to hold the excess up, and then we're going to give it a swing.